Well, how y'all doing today? I hope y'all having a blessed day. It is, I don't know, about 9:30 a.m. here in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I've decided to put out another video. Little update on my patio garden. Uh, that one over there ain't producing nothing. It's got about another month and a half, yeah. But a lot of people ain't getting their plants to produce because of the heat this summer. This one's got, this is a habanero, and it's got all kinds of blooms on it. And I got some little habanero going there. And this is a yellow cherry tomato. So I might get some. You know, I couldn't afford one of them screen thingies when I put my maters in. And it was the first time I had ever ordered plants through the mail. I really didn't have much choice, and they were in bad shape. So I got them into the soil as fast as I could, but I just couldn't afford one of them great things, but you know, that they grow up, cages. And so I tied them up here to this. And, you know, it was killing me that I couldn't grow anything, and I had to grow something, so I took a chance of growing something. And because management may not have liked it, but I actually heard her bragging on it one day when she was showing an apartment, showing somebody around, that they didn't mind if somebody gardened as long as they kept it nice and neat. And that's exactly what I do. So I'm thrilled about that. I had to grow something. It was, you know, I just love to grow things. And I got my new screens in. Unfortunately, they had to be screwed in again. And he told me, you'll never get that screw out if you need them out until we get you some, you know, new windows. Everybody's supposedly getting new windows here in November. If you need them out, you'd have to come get us. And I said, well, I just, you know, just wash my windows, and I don't think, you know, I'm going to have to do it for a while, but if something happens and I need them out, I'll come get you. And I thanked him for that. And he said to me, where are you originally from? And I said, well, I was born in Connecticut to Southern parents, but I couldn't live there. And he started laughing. Out of 6 of us girls, no, I couldn't live there. And he started laughing, and I told him, I said, my daddy said the same thing when he was living. He said, girl, you're never gonna be able to live here. And I couldn't. The part of New England I grew up in was right outside the capital. I was actually born in the capital. And back then, when I was little, I grew up in a Victorian house that had been turned into apartments. And you still had them old-fashioned Victorian Christmases. You know, you could go downtown and look at the displays in the windows and stuff like that. And my mom would always put up one of them fake fireplaces. Now, we had a fireplace. We had pocket doors. We had a room, a sitting room is what it was. That's what they called them. And it went from the hall outside into the sitting room where there was a fireplace, but we never used the fireplace. We sure got a couple bats down through that chimney once or twice, and my mother would chase them out of there. Yeah, she would. But she'd set up a fake fireplace in that room every Christmas, and it was beautiful. My mother always made sure us kids had a good holiday. And it just wasn't the same when you know, and my daddy told me, you're never going to be able to live here. And it's different. It's very different. I find people, it's very rat race. People are very uptight. There's a whole lot more foreigners there. Yeah, what can I say? But you know, I miss them old days. But anyway, I told him, yeah. He said, sometimes your accent is Southern and sometimes it's Northern. I said, I've been told that it switches up. Now, if I get stressed or something like that, it will switch up back to a Northern accent. But when I'm relaxed, that's when my southern accent comes through. And I told him, well, I've lived all over the South. You know, I just prefer it here. I really do. And I just couldn't. I mean, out of 6 girls, I couldn't stay there. And I told him, when my daddy was alive, he told me, girl, you ain't ever going to make it here. Well, I made it there, but I didn't want to be there. Because, you know, it's different. It really is. And I like the more laid-back country life. There's a little bit more work involved in it. But even I have found that the South has changed a great deal. Now, when I lived in West Virginia, I used to walk up the road to my grandmother's house and sit on the porch with her. She was up before the sun was up. And when it went down, she was in bed before it went down. And I'd go sit with her. You know, we always called it sitting a spell. And we'd put on a pot of coffee and we'd sit and chit-chat and stuff like that. And it was more laid back. And same thing in Indiana. You know, people were closer and stuff. Here, if you cook something and, you know, you say to your neighbor, hey, I'm making spaghetti, and they're like, it smells good, and would you like some? And they'll decline, they don't want it. But back in the day, you could call your neighbor and say, hey, we've put on a pot of beans, and we got this out of the garden, we've made cornbread, and y'all want to come for supper, and you know, y'all come. You know, there's a way, there's a reason in that you know, that saying come to fruition. Y'all come, you know. So, and my grandmother on my mom's side was that way too. And you know, my grandmother on my mom's side, she mixed stuff up. I'll put it to you that way. And she'd go out in the woods and stuff, and she'd gather up stuff. And that woman made her own cough syrup, right? And one time when we were visiting, she had me take a couple big tablespoons of that stuff. It knocked me out for hours, but when I woke up, I was cured, right? And they said it was going to do it, and it did. She also made the best, now she grew everything and canned it, and she made the best sauerkraut you ever ate in your life. She cold packed it and then canned it. And when we'd go, I'd get me a jar of that and sit off in the corner and watch everybody walking by and talking and stuff, and just like I'd eat that whole jar by myself. That stuff was so good. But my grandmother was Irish. She was full-blooded Irish, and she had blonde hair and blue eyes. Yeah. So back then, people were different, you know. Nowadays, you know, you offer somebody something to eat, and they look at you like, you know, what do you want? You know, what are you up to? It's like there's some kind of ulterior motive to it. But, you know, nah. So, no, I could never live up north again. I love the southern states. But, again, it has changed. It has changed a lot. And especially with everything going on in the last 3 years and people self-distancing and isolating and stuff like that. And I don't know. I'll tell you, it's a sad thing. It really is. You know, it was nothing for somebody to show up at my grandmother's house and bring her something, you know, something to eat. You know, but here, I mean, these days it just don't happen no more. It's a sad day. I'm hoping people get back to it. I mean, even if it's out of necessity, you know, to be good to one another and fellowship with one another. And it's a sad day we live in as far as the way people get along with each other. Me, you know, when I was talking to that gentleman today, he knew I was old school. He knew I was beans, potatoes, cornbread, and sit and chat on the porch. Yeah. Yeah, he knew that. He could tell. So, yeah, I'm happy out here in the South. But like I said, it's not like it was years ago. But up north, forget that. It's gone. The thrill is gone, baby. From what it used to be. But I sure miss them Victorian-type Christmases. Yeah, I do. Snow's always nice from the inside. But I could never wait to get out in it as a kid. I'd go out with a shovel. Yeah, I did. And I think my dad was always amazed at that. Because I'd grab the shovel, and as soon as the snow stopped, I'd go from house to house, banging on the doors. I will shovel your sidewalk for this amount of money. I will shovel your driveway for this amount of money. And I'd go and spend the whole day doing that. And I'd make some money. I was one of those kids that I wanted to work. I wanted to make some money. My room was clean constantly, so I didn't have anything to do. Except for arts and crafts, which, you know, I've been doing that most of my life. So anyway, it is what it is. It was a nice little fellowship there with the maintenance guy and everything. I'm glad I got my screens in now. I've had that, I made what is, I call it Dagwood pasta sauce, where I put hamburger and onions and garlic and Italian sausage and roasted red peppers and basil, pesto and oregano and mushrooms. I mean, I call it Dagwood, you know, and, because it's got everything in it. And started that yesterday, and I had it on low and slow most of the night, got up and turned it off, and I've turned it back on again, and I've decided to take some of that, cut up some of them sausages, and maybe put a can of beef stock or chicken stock in there, and I got some cheese tortellini. I'm going to make me some tortellini soup today because we're getting some rain, and people, I'm loving it. I mean, I could, like, do this for days. We could use rain here for days. Been incredibly hot, not just here, a lot of different places, and it's affecting people's gardens and stuff. Anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'll start that tortellini soup here in a little bit, and I'll probably make a video on that before it's done. Y'all have a blessed day. Y'all find something to make you happy. Alright, look for the good in your day, and I love it when you stop in. Thank you so much for stopping in. I really appreciate it that you stop in and say howdy. All right? Y'all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.